Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you all here. Normally, we have our wonderful Tony Ruffalo MC these sorts of events. And I'm sorry to tell you that Tony can't be here today. He chipped his tooth. So Tony is at the dentist right now. And you get me? Having said that, this event is being live streamed. We're really, really fortunate to be here in this beautiful techno wonder, the Center for Dialogue. And there are cameras there and there. So just do me a favor and wave at the camera and say, "Hi, Tony!" And everybody else who's watching out there, sitting at your desk. How many of you folks did the scavenger hunt this morning? Hands up. Woo! Who learned something new about railroads? Oh, Heather Wenke. What did you learn? The four goddesses and what they are goddesses of. Where do the four goddesses live, Heather? In the dining room and in the Italian garden, don't they also? Oh, you didn't go down there. What else? Something else somebody learned about railroads you didn't know before. The 3 programs created in 1996, our founding 3 programs. What were they, Lisa Robinson? Masters in Leadership. Bachelor's in Environmental Science. BCom and Entrepreneurial. All right, well, that's terrific. Thank you so much for those of you who were able to participate, and to Cindy Goodman for organizing the scavenger hunt. That was awesome. So I've done it again. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Roberta Mason, and I have the privilege of working here as Associate Vice President, Student and Academic Services. Before we get started, we're really privileged to have some great folks with us from United Way Greater Victoria. So if I could just ask Linda, if you would stand up, please. Linda Hughes, the CEO. There. And we have Robin Rushton, our very own loaned rep, again this year. Some of you might remember Robin at last year's Halloween event when she was the community builder. So we'll all look forward to her Halloween costume this year too. And we have Kim Manton. Kim, standing at the back. Kim, your title is Labor Coordinator. Yeah. And Joe. Joe, what's your last name? Sorry? Wright. Joe Wright. And Joe's the Development Manager. Did I get that right? Close? Development Director. Super. So thank you all for being with us today. I'm standing up here because I have the privilege, too, of working with a group of folks who are our United Way Core Committee, and I'll introduce those guys later. But without further ado, we now have, to really kick off the kickoff, our President, Fearless Leader, and a whole bunch of things that I don't have time to say, Alan Cahoon!
Is there something about professional development or performance review here that I'm missing on this one? Thank you. Listen, welcome to the launch of our campaign. I think those of you that know me, 4 years that I've been here, this is an important part of what I think Railroads has to do, which is demonstrate to ourselves and to our colleagues the importance of giving, and particularly giving to people who are in need. And I had a conversation with Paul Corns about what was my key message when I finished, and I said, well, people contribute, right? Just sign up, and we want to win the competition with UVic and Camosun because we're more passionate and we care about our communities more. But he didn't think that was good enough. So, is Muyan here? Muyan sent me a video link that talked about the really important things in life. And we often focus on the what we should be doing and the how, but we miss the why. So you'll have people talk about how you can contribute and for what for, and we'll hear those this afternoon. But I guess it's about why. So what's the passion on the basis of which we want to make a contribution to the United Way? I think those of us that live and work in a beautiful place, sometimes more challenging than other times, that get a reasonable compensation, that certainly have a chance to interact with other people who support us, are privileged. And sometimes that privilege perhaps makes us a little blind of people who don't have that same privilege, don't have the same opportunity, don't have a job, don't have a supportive community or supportive family, don't have a place to live, are struggling with illnesses that we're lucky we haven't had. But I suspect all of us indirectly and perhaps even consciously have interacted with people who've been served by the members of the United Way, the various communities they're supported by it. And I guess it really starts with you and the sense of what responsibility do we have to care for and be responsible for others. And in so many ways in society, we're kind of detached. Bob Bateman talks about this whole idea of, young people not engaging in the environment anymore. They're stuck in front of the computer, interacting and playing games. Not a lot of interaction with others. It's easy not to care if you don't see them. And if you're shooting them in games, that's even more challenging in terms of that. So I think you need to look at it within yourself and what's important to you. And what kinds of things are significant for you in terms of things that you would want to either instill in people around you or family, or be responsible for? What is it? Is it the caring? Is it the consideration? Is it the support? So I guess I'm asking you to think about what kind of starts inside, and what's the motivation. And I think those of us are privileged to have a good place to live, a good place to work, a supportive family and friends around us, supportive colleagues, challenges and opportunities, and a sense of accomplishment that we really are privileged. And we need to think about those who aren't. And I think the United Way is, we all have favorite charities or causes that we support, and I think that's great. And I've discovered clearly at Royal Roads we're a very caring community, and I think it's demonstrated by the contributions that we make, which I clearly point out to Dr. Turpin and Catherine Lorne are at least twice as much as per employee as in their institution. So I know we care. But the one measure in the community that other people acknowledge and see is the United Way. So it doesn't mean that we can't contribute in other ways or shouldn't contribute in other ways, but kind of a measure in terms of giving back to the community and how important we care for the people in our community is our contribution to the United Way. Besides that, I think there are some fun things that we can do. And if you learn something about Royal Roads in a scavenger hunt, I think that's great. And if we can think of new things to do, I think that's challenging. And this year I've asked the committee also, as we engage and we have more international students, is that maybe we can instill a culture of giving as part of them, and a demonstration of what is important to us as Canadians about caring for other people. So that's my message. Think about it, where it starts from you and what's important to you, and then the how and the what becomes a little easier. So we're delighted. This is a campaign. Started the campaign. Let's have fun doing it. And in the end, let's make a difference. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Alan. Many of you will know Jack Knox by his name, if not what he looks like, and we're all going to get treated to that shortly. Jack Knox writes a local news column on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, plus a Sunday piece, slightly skewed, that can be categorized as either humor, social commentary, or unmitigated piffle. I'm reading the biography, I didn't write this. An ongoing series called The Other Island, in which Jack and photographer Deborah Brash explore the far reaches of Vancouver Island, earned them a Jack Webster Award nomination in 2005. Career highlights include being blasted with a face full of blowhole spray by Luna the whale. Jack says it tasted like fish. And interviewing a porn movie queen in the nude. Him, not her. Sorry, Jack. In 2007, Jack had the honor of cycling the 1,000-kilometer Canadian Cancer Society Cops for Cancer Tour de Rock. The grueling journey left him with a serious sense of accomplishment that he hopes never to feel again. And on a serious note, Jack was, in fact, the only Canadian reporter who got to talk to Barack Obama before he was elected. And now, Jack.
Okay, I'm going to be pretty short because it turns out that I suck as a speaker. It's true. I don't know. Having me as a speaker is like having Charlie Sheen as a life skills coach or Tiger Woods as a marriage counselor or something. It's true. Actually, I did one of these talks a while ago, and I'm supposed to talk about what the United Way is all about. And you know, I came in talking about it being the low-cost, one-stop shopping center for all your charity needs in Victoria, and a way to get back to the United. $6.3 million raised and 132 programs offered by 69 agencies. And I had bar graphs and charts, and 2 minutes in, you could see everybody's eyes glazing over. Half the people had fallen asleep, and the other half had faked medical emergencies so they could leave the room. And by the time I was done sucking the life out of the room, you pretty much guaranteed no one would ever give another dime to the United Way ever again. But then a woman stood up and saved the day. She had a very sad but very poignant story. This is a true story. She and her husband founded one of Vancouver's better-known retailers. And she said, we had the perfect life. They had a heritage house in Kitsilano. They had a place at Whistler. They had matching 4x4s. It was perfect life. And then one day, tragedy struck. They had an infant child who died out of the blue. And to make a long story short, life went sideways and just fell apart. She ended up living on Salt Spring Island in a one-room, unheated hunting cabin on the shores of St. Mary's Lake with 3 kids and a dog. And Christmas was coming. She had no income. She was broke, didn't know where she was going to go. One night, right in Christmas week, cars pulled into the driveway and all these people pulled out, and it turned out they were her neighbors. And they weren't people she knew particularly well, but they were her neighbors nonetheless. And they dragged out Christmas tree with all the decorations, Christmas dinner with all the trimmings, including a bottle of wine that she can still taste to this day, presents for the kids, and they said, no big deal, you're a neighbor, and this is what neighbors do. Neighbors help neighbors. You're part of the community, no big deal. And to her, the analogy is that's all the United Way is. It's just a different scale. You don't get to look in the eyes of your neighbors as you help them out, but you are nonetheless helping them out, neighbors helping neighbors. What does that look like? It's 132 programs last year, 69 different nonprofits, provided by 69 different nonprofit groups in Greater Victoria. Things like the Youth Empowerment Society had a skills training program to get marginalized kids, give them job skills to get them off the streets. Silver Threads has a program for isolated seniors, and you can go on and repeat that 132 different times. There's actually 3 focus areas that I always forget, so I've got them written down. One is All That Kids Can Be, which are child and youth programs that prevent bullying, enhance self-esteem, and increase school success in high school graduation. An area called Healthy People, Strong Communities, programs that help individuals overcome isolation, mental health and addictions issues, and build community connections. And finally, something called I like the way they phrase this, From Poverty to Possibility. Programs that help individuals develop the skills they need to move out of poverty and to become self-sufficient. How does it all get paid for? You guys. There are about 500 workplace campaigns going on around Greater Victoria right now. And you guys do payroll deduction, I assume. It's pretty painless. It's just like Stephen Harper sticking his hand right in your pocket. You hardly notice it at all. And you got the duck races and the fun stuff. Great. That's a blast. About a little over half the money actually comes from 20% of the donors, who are known as leadership donors. They're the ones who give $500 a year or more each. And that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but it actually, even then, it works out. After the tax break, it's less than 90 cents a day, and you get a little lapel pin, and you get to go to heaven when you die. But truth is, we all have our own capacity to give. So I would say every dollar counts. And I think you saw Good Lord, there I am. That's just awful. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. You saw the useful stuff that used to be on the sides was the information on the impact that the money makes. $2 a pay period, like $52 a year, $1 a week, pays for a backpack full of school supplies for a kid living in poverty. $20 a pay period provides 10 counseling sessions for a kid suffering mental health and addictions issues. What are some of the other examples they had here? $2 a pay period provides 1 month of suppers for a woman in a shelter. $5 pays for a cup of coffee and a check-in for people living in poverty on the street. And just tangible stuff like that that goes on and on and on. I'm going to stop rattling on because your eyes will glaze over and you will fall asleep. However, if you do have questions afterwards, I'd be happy to answer any easy ones. The hard ones, Linda's here. She's the CEO. She can answer you. She can give you the best stuff. But right now, it actually, like, if you want to hear more about, and you do, want to hear more about one of the programs and how it works, I'm going to invite Arlene Reese from the Soup Transition House Society to come up. There you are.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to really thank you for coming and listening to some of our stories today, because the work that United Way does has such an enormous impact on communities. It's really unbelievable. I'll start off just quickly telling you what the Soup Transition House Society is. Many people think that a transition house is a halfway house for women who've come out of prison. And it's true. It's true that many people believe that. But what a transition house really is an emergency shelter for women who are escaping situations of domestic violence. And we see women, we see children in just the most desperate state of mind. So we have a house, transition house, where women and children can come in an emergency. And we also have counseling programs. We have a Stopping the Violence Women's program, a Children Who Witness Abuse program for kids. And so in the course of our work, you see women and they come into the house and already they have to deal with the issues of having come out of a desperate situation and having lived with domestic violence or abuse. There's a whole complexity of issues that arise from that, mental health issues, addictions. And so many women just don't know where to start. And we work so hard to help these women and counsel them. But I got to thinking, where we really need to do the work and so that we can create health opportunities for people to become healthy and communities to become strong is to work in a preventative way. And so how do you work in prevention when it comes to domestic violence? Well, you target the girls, you target teenage girls. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources or the capacity to work with men, so, I would love to be able to help young men as well. But we target young girls from, say, 13 to 24 years old. And it's sort of like the old cliche, get them young and teach them right, or educate them right. And so I thought, well, let's develop a program where we can meet for several weeks, several months before the summer, educate young girls on what the signs and symptoms of dating abuse are, and relationship abuse. And many of these girls have come from situations of domestic violence in the home. So they're, even though the domestic violence might have been targeted towards their mother, their self-esteem is still shattered. Their competency is still low. Their body image is just trashed. So we meet once a week for several weeks, and then we culminate with a summer program where we take them out into a natural setting. 2 years ago, when I first applied to United Way for funding for the program, and which United Way very generously supported, we took our girls on the summer trip out to Tofino. They went kayaking for 3 or 4 days, and then they went surfing and practiced low-impact camping and just, got to be in a situation where they had no makeup, boys weren't an issue, and so they could really rediscover themselves and find their strengths. Last year we took the girls, this past summer we took them caving up to Horn Lake. Again, this summer program and this past year has been generously funded by United Way. And these girls, we took them crawling through caves on their belly, and they came out filthy, dirty, soaking wet, with the biggest smiles on their faces you've seen in years. So I'm kind of losing track because I'm kind of sleep deprived today. 12 noon today was the funding deadline for 2012 applications for United Way. So I was, burning the midnight or 2 a.m. oil to get those applications in on time. But anyway, I want to tell you a really quick story about a girl that was a participant in our program 2 years ago and this past summer. Just so happens I first met this girl 7 years ago when I worked for a different agency. And in this agency, I created a program for parents and their teens, usually single parents, but some were men, some were women. And one of the families that showed up was a single father who had 3 daughters, and he came with his 11-year-old daughter. And they did so famously in the program. It was just astonishing. And her older sister wanted to participate, and the program was really targeted for 10 to 12-year-olds, and the older sister was 15. I said, well, is she going to be comfortable with 10 to 12-year-olds? And the dad said, yeah, she wants to come. She says, I'm noticing a really fabulous difference in the communication you're having with my sister, so I want to be part of it. So she came. Anyway, getting back to the 10-year-old, the family had a fabulous experience in this program. And 6 years down the road, now I'm with the Transition House Society and created these new programs called Young Women of Spirit. And who shows up 2 years ago but this same girl that I met 6 years ago in a United Way funded program. Now, when she first came to the program and, I managed to run into her father, he said, oh, you're not going to believe the difference that program 5 years ago or 6 years ago made in our family. The older daughter who participated, she was inspired to go to culinary school, and the younger daughter, she's doing really well. She's having some challenges now with smoking pot and stuff, but she's doing a lot better. Whoops, I have to stop talking with my hands. Anyway, so back then he was saying what an enormous impact that program from 5 years ago, 6 years ago had made on his family. So this young girl, she did fabulously in the program 2 summers ago or 2 years ago. I'm bad. And to the extent that she became a mentor and a leader this past summer for new girls in the program. And the counselor from EMCS, this high school in Souk, was so impressed by the difference the program had made for her 2 years ago. STEAM, giving them opportunities to do healthy things and learn how to be healthy or be healthier, giving them options. So many girls in Souk unfortunately believe that there are very few options. There's no jobs. I'm not smart enough to go to school, and what can I do? And we go, hey, there's plenty of options. They're as wide as your imagination. And we were fortunate enough to be invited into the curriculum at EMCS school last year and presented to over 90 girls, which was amazing. We hope to do again this year. But I just wanted to end off, because I can go on all day, I just wanted to read this tiny little testimonial from a girl who participated in the program this past summer. Now, this is a girl who came from a situation of domestic violence. Her father had perpetrated upon her mother. Her self-esteem was just down the tubes. She was very vulnerable because she, was looking for love in all the wrong places that she didn't get in the family, and she was hooking up with boys that weren't exactly treating her in the best way. So she participated in the program, and this is just a little piece that she wrote. And she said, I've learned that there's more to life than electronics and school and drama. There's a huge world out there with millions of cool experiences and amazing opportunities waiting to be discovered. Women are one of the greatest things out there. We are so taken for granted. But one of the happiest moments of my life was in a tent with a few girls, no makeup, no connections to the outside, all with different lives and only having womanhood in common. Laughing my ass off over a song we decided to sing. I know now that I will never be alone. because no matter what, there will always be something new, something exciting, and something loving around the corner. This is a 15-year-old girl. No matter what I go through, some other female out there is experiencing the same thing. Someone will always be there for me. I would recommend this program to any other woman, and I would love to do it again. So, speaks for, her words speak for herself, and there's so many more like it. But that's my passion, that's our passion, and that's our path, is to, create opportunities for people to become more healthy, to laugh again, and to grow up a little stronger and a little more self-confident. And truly, change does start here. It starts with each and every one of us. It starts in our heart, and it just radiates out from that. So thank you, and please give to the United Way.
Thank you, Jack and Arlene, very much for coming in the presentations. They were really, really great, funny, informative, heartfelt, and thank you so much for coming to Royal Road. That's a gift for you.
So now you've all been inspired, and sort of it feels like I'm preaching to the choir, right? I mean, you're all here because you care already. But now we're going to talk a little bit about the details of our campaign this year here at Royal Roads. As soon as Mike goes to the next, oh no, I go to the next slide. There we are. Ha! It's like magic. So Jack referenced it, the campaign goal for United Way of Greater Victoria this year is $6.3 million. And of that, Royal Roads, our goal will be $52,000. That's not much more, actually, than we raised last year, and it is an adjustment down from last year's goal. But we did that, Alan conferred with the committee, in recognition that times are tough. We know times are tough for everybody. That does mean the need is that much greater in our community, but respecting that for all of us, it's a little harder maybe to reach into that pocket with Stephen Harper's hand already in there. So we're going to focus on that 52,000 and hope that we will beat it. Of course, our participation goal is equally as important. And yeah, Alan and his damn cup. I personally want to win, as I know he does, for the feeling that we at Royal Roads do step up. And whether it's because we compete against another post-secondary institution, to me, isn't so important as it is that we demonstrate that we really care about our communities. And I want to pick up on that, if this thing clicks, because it's wireless, I was told. So Jack talked about the 3 impact areas of the United Way of Greater Victoria campaign, and we're going to focus on this healthy people, strong communities theme. Sometimes here at Royal Roads, I find we have this conversation, an ongoing conversation about, are we a business or are we a university? And my feeling is that we're a university first and foremost that acts like a business. We have to in this day and age, as do most universities. But I think what distinguishes us is a sense of university community. And these characteristics that are listed here come from some work that was done years ago by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching about what truly makes a great university community. And it's those 6 things: principled, open, just, disciplined, and the last 2, caring and celebrative. So as we go forward through the United Way campaign, we already are here because we care, and we might as well have a little bit of fun along the way. So here's our celebration. So this year, once again, we'll be reprising the wonderful, what year is it? 5 years for the duck race. 5th annual duck race. Kathy and team will be hosting for us down at the Fish Ladder. And who will be hosting, Kathy? You are. No! Hudson Mack will be back. Hudson Mack will be back. We have a new event this year, Student Services, formerly known as University Life. Steve's going to kill me for giving that away, but hey, I've got the mic. Student Services will be hosting Gleanoween, so keep your eyes peeled for this new and fun event, right, Drenna and company? The library will do once again its wonderful, fun, and fill in my tummy book and bake sale. So get baking now. Melanie and crew from the library are collecting donations not the baked goods. We got to wait for those. But would like your books if you've got them. And the employee craft fair, and we might be adjusting that date a little bit. Right, Cindy? We may have to confirm that, but that will come up. And that's a terrific opportunity to showcase the wonderful talents of some of our employees and get some Christmas shopping done too, and donate to United Way at the same time. And on top of that, in the Healthy People theme, the Rec Center will be hosting a core class on the quarter deck, which I will be leading. And they will be also hosting our annual online auction. You will see here, there is no basket raffle this year. The campaign committee decided that what we'd like to do is roll that into the online auction. So if units want to put a basket together, that would be awesome. But we'll put those into the online auction so that we're sort of focusing our efforts a little more. Flyover Victoria raffle, Juanita Bradley, where are you? There she is. Juanita and her wonderful husband, what's your husband's name? Scott. Scott is a pilot, and last year for the first time gave us was it the first time last year? Second time? Third time? Third or fourth, I think. I knew that. Third or fourth time will be for just a ticket to ride. You could get a flyover Victoria with Scott Bradley. Custodial and housekeeping services will do their famous bottle drive, mostly from our students. And so Darren and Carmel sat and figured out the dates when most of our students will be here leading up to the holiday season. And so it will extend a little bit past our campaign dates, but we'll have that as well. And there's more to come, I think. We've got some few groups are still talking about things they might do. So this is a terrific way for us to celebrate our friendship, our colleagues, create some buzz around giving, and at the same time remember that, oh yeah, the pledge forms. And at the same time remember that these pledge forms are really important to the United Way. So we will be doing thank you for giving draws as we have traditionally. They'll be on these dates. The first one is this Friday. Get your pledge form in by 2 p.m. on Friday. If you can't get it in, email us by 1 p.m. and we'll come and get it. We're that keen. And the draw is for a day off with pay, or you get to choose the annual parking pass. So up to you to choose. The next draw will be whatever's left over from the first person's choice and some other cool stuff. Keep your ears tuned. Okay. So, before you go, if you haven't done so already, please, what'd I do? Yeah, okay, I just want you to know, Cecilia did this for me, and she is awesome. But I want you to know, last year, when Andrea Turnbull stood up here, it was Lady Gaga. And I'm Miss Pushy Pants. Anywho, oh, I ripped my thing off. So in your package, you'll find this beautiful form, which is easy to fill out, but we're just going to talk about a few of the details right now. This is cool. I can read it right here. So, of course, you fill in your details of where you live and all that stuff. Am I supposed to say anything special about this part, Cindy? No. Okay, next part. You can designate your gift, as many of you know from having done this in past years. So you can put it where you want it in terms of the themes of the impact themes of the campaign, but also the organizations. And there is a list of those organizations available on the website if you haven't got yours picked out yet. Any charitable organization, if you have that registered number, you can put it through here. And I should have said, and Alan is very keen on this too, that we make sure we say we respect people give in a lot of ways. So if you don't want to give through the United Way, that's totally cool. But if you are giving to another organization, it's possible for you to route that donation through the United Way. And that way, as he said in his remarks, it also gets included in the community giving totals that help demonstrate in things like the Victoria Foundation numbers and all that kind of stuff, how we really give in our community overall. Shelley handed me a little quote, give till it hurts is one quote, but a better one is give till it feels good. So you can designate your organization there if you'd like in that bottom section. And then we have so many different options for you to pay. Of course, as Jack talked about, the easy one is the payroll donation. And you can just do that as, sliding off the top there. You won't even notice. If you want to choose other options, though, you're free to do so. Cindy, are there some details that I'm supposed to mention here? Cindy is our treasurer. Oh, I don't know if that's possible. Ooh. Hey. Okay, so Cindy's saying if you don't know the charitable number, we can look that up.
And it has to be a registered.
Right, you can't give to the Obama campaign. No. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, that it came from you. Okay, moving right along. So you can give it all these wonderful many ways. So you can't say, oh, I couldn't possibly give because I didn't, and you didn't take my Visa card. Too bad. And of course, please sign the form. What?
Cecilia.
Oh. Don't you love it when Cecilia asks you questions and things like this? Because she knows the answer, don't you? Cindy. The answer's no.
And if you're casual.
Yeah. So you have to be a regular full-time employee. You could do it one time, but it has to be more than $20? Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, I think it's 25, boys and girls. Okay, sign your form. And then if you want to do the payroll deduction, don't tear it off as I have done already. Eventually you can tear it off, but give it to Cindy and she'll tear it off. So just fill your whole form in, and if you want to do this, sign it at the bottom. Okay, Cindy and Cecilia, really seriously, before I click to the next slide, did I miss anything? Oh, you can designate also if you live outside of Victoria, if you're in Nanaimo or Cowichan Bay, I'm looking at Lisa, Cowichan Valley, Nanaimo, or Campbell River. You can designate your donation to go to one of the island branches if you'd like that as well. And it's from Cecilia David. Would one of you be able to answer that? If your home address is... Okay. So unless you indicate it, it will go to our Greater Victoria, United Way of Greater Victoria. Okay. Anybody else besides Cecilia have any questions? Yes. Where was the indication? Oh, I do actually think I know the answer to that. Oh, no. I don't. Okay, now you've seen the whole presentation. We can leave. Where you designate here, I think. In here. Nope, 3. Somewhere here. Was it the one before? Yeah. This one. Yeah. Sorry. Where it says optional? Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think if you just write in United Way Nanaimo, that's fine. We can deal with the details. Yeah, super, thanks. Anybody else besides Cecilia and anybody sitting beside her? Wonderful. If you have questions or comments about the campaign, do send us an email. We make it easy for you. Well, Cecilia and company make it easy for us by, you can just email to that unitedway@royalroads.ca address. You can call me. If it's a question about paying, though, Cindy, your donation, Cindy is our treasurer and she can answer those. And please give a helping hand if you can. But before we go, I really want to acknowledge the people who have who will have and will support the campaign throughout. So, if I call your name, stand up. Cindy Goodman, oh, you already are. Cindy Goodman, Cecilia David, Shelley Langell. Okay, I'm thinking who's here. Melanie Martins, who's not here. Kim Tooby's not here. Gina Williams, you're here. I saw you, there she is. Jeannie Drew, you're here. Thank you, thank you. Kathy Salmons, you and your team from School of Environment Sustainability, please. And the team, yep, everybody from Stay Standing Up. Drana, Andrews Brown, pardon me? Leah Newman, is she here? Leah, oh, stand up. We see you. Heather, and you both. Oh, whoops. All right. Barb Parfit, Patty Walsh from the Rec Center, Kyla and the Student Services team. See, it's funny. Almost everybody in the audience will stand up by the time I finish this. So we just won't carry on, except to demonstrate that we know everyone already, a great deal of us are already participating and support this wonderful cause. And we thank you for that. Have a great afternoon. Questions, comments? I should have said, ask Alan. Cecilia. Please, as you exit the building, turn to your right and find your name in alpha order and take your form. And if you would please take forms for those in your units who couldn't come today and take them back for them, that would be great. That'll help save us following up. But, we're going to find you anyway. Thank you very much.